You're watching Time Out with me, Kaustav, and on our episode today, we have a lot of special guests. We have Ankit, Alan, and Aniket. Hi, guys.
Hi, Costa.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Gautam.
I,
So, guys, a lot of interesting signings took place, and we'll start with Liverpool. Deadline day drama. Not one but two centre back signed. What are your thoughts on that, Alan?
So Costa, as you very rightly said earlier, that it wasn't a big spending day, but very strategic one. So I think Liverpool did the same. They got some extremely good talents from teams that are not doing that well. So even the players are very eager to, move into a club that is actually in the Premier League, a shot at the Champions League as well, waiting for them. So yeah, it was good signings on both sides, you could say, for the players and the team. Because if you see Liverpool's defense, they have been leaking goals, and yeah, they want to keep up with the Manchester teams right now. So they need to really tighten things up at the back, and that's what they're trying to do. And if you see both these players, they have incredibly good stats, and they're not positioned in incredibly good teams, right? So if you see, it's a very seamless signing of these two, and they haven't spent big too. So yeah, it's a win-win on both sides, I'd say.
Yeah, Ben Davies and from Preston and Ozan Kabak from Schalke. What a story for Ben Davies. He was playing in the Championship with 6 months left on his contract. Now from Championship to Champions League. So what do you have to tell about that particular signing, Ben Davies having?
So Ben Davies, as you said, he had some great stats while playing for Preston, and I think he'll probably give that boost to the Liverpool's backline that they are in dire need of. So if you see Matip is injured, and it will be a while since when he and Van Dijk return, and when they do, they will need someone who plays with much fluidity as Klopp would want. Like, he wants his backline to keep passing the ball and having control of the game basically, and that's the contribution that Ben Davies will bring as well, right? So yeah, I'm sure it's a good signing. It's a good strategic signing.
It's a good signing. More than 250 caps in the Championship. A lot of experience under his name. But the other signing, Ozan Kabak, is not so experienced, struggling with Schalke. Did that come as a surprise to you, Alan?
It did actually. It was a big surprise. No one was expecting Liverpool to go for someone who's playing for a club that's not doing so well, right? Liverpool is trying to get their chances in the title race back. They want to hit back, right? So getting Ozan Kabak was a very big surprise, not expecting it at all. But yeah, I mean, I feel lucky for the lad. Like, he can probably give Liverpool what they want, so what they're seeking. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, and Aniket, with no obligation to buy, it's a 6-month loan deal with an option to buy. So it's a win-win situation for both, right? For Liverpool and for Kabak.
Yeah. And Kabak was previously linked with AC Milan as well. His move fell through. So probably very happy for that lad, although he's joining my rivals, Liverpool, but I'm happy that he's having a shot at the title, and probably he'll fix the Liverpool's backline, which has been leaking goals left, right and center. So yeah, Ozan Kabak to Liverpool was a surprising move, but hats off to Liverpool board who pulled off 2 signings on the deadline day, and that's incredible for Liverpool and their fans. Hopefully you will see Liverpool challenging the title now that they have a proper and a solid defense. So hopefully we'll see a good title race.
Hopefully we'll see a good title race, and hopefully we'll not see Jordan Henderson playing as a centre back. And Ankit,
yeah.
Those were the arrivals at Liverpool, but we saw a player parting as well. Minamino joining Southampton. A good signing.
I think it could be a perfect signing for Southampton. They had a good title. They had a good run in the Premier League, but they fell off. I think with Minamino's introduction, they could bring a new look to their attack. They can, if they can get the best out of him. At Liverpool, Minamino has shined, but not every time. But he has shined a bit here and there. But if Southampton can get the best out of him and bring in goals and assists from him, he's a creative player, creating attacking player. So if they can get the goals and assists from him, then I think it could be a good signing, a perfect signing for Southampton.
Alright, and then that was for Liverpool. We saw 2 arrivals and a departure, and hopefully we'll see them getting back on track and getting in good form. So moving on from Liverpool to a team that was very busy on the deadline day, Arsenal. A lot of departures there as well. Ankit, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think Arsenal had a pretty good January, in terms of signings. If you look at it, many young players, young Arsenal players who are not getting the chances under Arteta, they have been sent out on loans. Maitland-Niles and Willock. I think they could get the if they get the minutes under their belt, they could know what shouldering responsibility is. And so if they can do that, it would definitely help them. And when it's just a loan deal, so they will come back to the next season. So when they come back, I think they will be Premier League ready. So that's a good thing for Arsenal. And apart from these young players, I think also they also got rid of many old players who are not in Arteta's contention, like in Arteta's Arsenal, if you look at it that way. So I think they have got rid of many old experienced players, but who are not in Arteta's plan. So that's a big plus for Arsenal. But another way to look at this is, if you notice, they haven't made any money out of these signings. So although tactically it's a good for Arsenal, but financially that looks very bad, not making any money on these big players. But that has been the case for Arsenal for the past couple of transfer seasons. They haven't been that sharp, or they haven't been that profitable. They have made lots of losses, but there have been other good signings as well. But all in all, I think they need to up their game in terms of signings and selling out old players. But all in all, I think it has been a good January. But for me, the signing of the season for Arsenal should be Martin Odegaard. What a big chance for the Norway, the wonder kid, to make wonders at Arsenal. Under Arteta, who's a tactician himself. I think he could learn a thing or two. Or with the experience playing in the PL, I think he could learn a thing or two. And for Real Madrid too, it's a good situation if Martin Odegaard learns the trade under Arteta. So I think it's a win-win for both Arsenal and Real Madrid, and he should be my signing for the season for Arsenal. So yeah, that's about it, I guess. Yeah, that's Arsenal for me.
So signing of the season says Ankit, but you made a good point there. They signed Ozil for 42.5 million, and then Mustafi for 35 million, and Socrates for 17 million, and they are not getting anything in return. So that is something that, as financially that will affect Arsenal. But yeah, all in all, I think when you don't need a player, why to have him in your squad, as you rightly mentioned. So right, and they have now got a lot of players on loan who will be returning back to Arsenal by the end of the season, hopefully strong,
Exactly.
and then Arsenal will get back in shape. So good point made there, and Odegaard, yes, obviously. But you missed out on one particular player there, Matt Ryan, that came in out of the blue. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's a good signing, Matt Ryan coming in. Leno has been good, has been excellent in between the sticks. I think with Matt Ryan coming in, that could only push Leno to perform more. And also, I think Runarsson, the guy who we signed from, I don't remember from where, but he was a decent signing, but he wasn't that good.
Dijon from France, he was sent.
Yeah, that guy. So he wasn't that good when he played for us. He made a bit of mistakes. He made a bit of silly mistakes. So I think Arsenal looked at him and said that he needs minutes under the belt, and so maybe they signed someone else, Matt Ryan, who is solid, who will be a good signing, I think. And yeah, that would be Matt Ryan for me.
Yeah, so good signing, says Ankit. Do you agree with that, Alan? 59 caps for Australia, more than 100 caps in Premier League for Brighton. Is he too good to be a number two, or what do you make of this signing, Matt Ryan at Arsenal?
I feel Arsenal, they wanted a too good number two as well, because they are on a comeback path right now, right? They were sitting somewhere in the bottom half. They are in the top half right now, so they are trying to push really hard. So it just takes some pressure off Leno, because how many saves can he make, right? He's the one who's shouldering all the responsibility right now. So Matt Ryan coming in is a very strategic move again by Arteta. It really gives Arsenal a solid push. And yeah, even the other signings, I feel Odegaard is an amazing signing as well. So yeah, I feel Arteta is he's seeing the teams that are above also are not doing that great. So he knows that there's a real chance over here to push ahead, and he's trying to exploit that. So yeah, he's doing well. I think I make very wise opinions about Arteta after the signing.
So answer in one word, all three of you, one by one. Is this a good transfer window for Arsenal or a bad one? We'll start with Aniket.
I think if you look at it, it's a really good one because they are casted off players who they don't favor, especially Mustafi. Ozil was not in Arteta's plans or Arsenal's plan. So it's a good transfer window, and hopefully if Odegaard shines brightly, then maybe it will be the best transfer window for Arsenal after a long time.
And what do you think,
Longer
Ankit?
than one.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, Niket said it rightly. I think Arteta has got what he has wanted. So I think he should look at what he has to achieve this season, and there has to be no excuses because I think he has got what he wanted, and I would give a 7 out of 10 for this transfer signings. Yeah.
And what about you, Alan? Hit or miss? Arsenal transfer window.
I'll just say in one word because you asked in one word earlier. So I'd say it's not good, but it's excellent.
All right. So we'll move on to the other Premier League team, Arsenal's rival Tottenham. We did not see a big arrival there, but we did not see any big departure also. Aniket, what are your thoughts on their transfer business?
It was quite shocking, first of all, to not see Dele Alli go to PSG because he was, going to go somewhere under a manager who appreciates him, and looks likely that Jose doesn't consider him as a priority in his team. So Pochettino would have been an ideal fit for him, but sadly that move didn't go through. And secondly, the guy who was supposed to join, Spurs, that Eriksen from Inter, that was quite shocking. That Eriksen actually wanted to come back to Spurs since he's unfavored at Inter. And two moves I expected to go through, but sadly they didn't. And this would be a big blow to Spurs because right now their season is in a turmoil, you can say that, because a few months back they were supposed to be in the top 4. Now they are getting into top 4. So Jose has to figure out, and now after the injuries of Harry Kane, it's going to be really difficult because Spurs are someone, who rely too much on Harry Kane, and now Son has to step up. So maybe, and you never know, Dele Alli might get another chance to revive his career at Spurs. He's a really good player, and Pochettino compared it to Messi. So you never know. Dele Alli might, just head back in form and give Spurs, plenty of goals like he was giving a few years back.
So that was Monica regarding Spurs. He was disappointed that Dele Alli could not get his move to PSG. He could not make the reunion with Pochettino, but at the same time, he is also hopeful that we may see more of him in the second half of the season. Now moving on to Aniket's favorite team, Manchester United. Jesse Lingard.
Yeah.
He is getting a reunion with his former manager, David Moyes. What do you have to say about that, Aniket?
To be honest, I was really not sad, I didn't say, but I felt a bit bad for him because Jesse Lingard was supposed to be someone, who comes from the academy, and he represents Manchester United, and he had a fabulous seasons under Louis van Gaal and Jose. I mean, he was someone, whom we could rely on. He has scored some more important goals for United. The one against Everton, the winner in the Community Shield and FA Cup. So that player is something, the fans really love. And I was really happy also to see him go under, the David Moyes once again, so that he can revive himself. He's a really good player and a really good squad player who runs a lot. So, and West Ham needs someone, with Antonio, Mark Noble and Declan Rice. They need someone who you can, go through the channels, and then so hopefully Jesse, starts performing well there, and we can hopefully see his dance moves back in the Premier League.
Yeah, his famous celebration. We want to see more of that. All right, and from Manchester United, we move to Stamford Bridge. And Alan, your favorite team, we did not see any big name joining the new manager, but were you surprised to see the old players getting the chance to play under Thomas Tuchel, Alonso and Azpilicueta, because they were expected to leave and they did not? So what are your thoughts on that?
Firstly, I don't think it came as a surprise that they had a quiet winter, because their summer was pretty exciting. They got some really big names then. So it was, and Tuchel has just arrived. So probably he's, planning out how he's going to, map out his Premier League stuff. So I'm sure he's working on that. So he didn't have enough time to have a discussion on, strengthening the squad at the moment. So yeah, it wasn't a surprise that there were no signings, but as you said about the older guys getting a chance to play with Tuchel, yeah, that's also something that will be interesting to watch, because yeah, they were in contention to leave, but surprising things keep happening in football. So yeah,
especially at Chelsea.
At Chelsea, yeah, you can just expect to be surprised. Like there was this, it'll be that for some other day probably. There was this joke about Chelsea when they surprised us a lot when they said that you were waiting for a signing, we got 3, and you knew what was happening of that it was their loser, right? So yeah, they have a knack of surprising their fans, and not very pleasantly sometimes. But yeah, this time it was quite fine. So, and it was as expected.
Yeah, but the big arrival at Stamford Bridge was indeed of Thomas Tuchel. We didn't see that coming either. A few words on him.
So, I mean, after he exited from PSG, it was just, and Lampard wasn't doing great as well, right? So it was, and we had a discussion also earlier, if you remember, about Lampard's future at Stamford, and it wasn't looking very bright then. And yeah, it did not, he couldn't shine given, he could have done better given more time. But Tuchel's arrival at Chelsea was a big surprise, not expected at all. But yeah, but the events that led to it then made it kind of, understandable at the end. But yeah, he'll probably try to get Chelsea's act together, and the retaining of Billy Gilmore also was a very strategic thing that they pulled off. So they did one good thing you can't say that a completely dry day, because they managed to get their midfield blues joke away, but their midfield blues brushed away. So yeah, I mean, because Kai Havertz isn't performing as intended, right? So they need Gilmore's services. They need it really bad. So yeah, I'm happy they did that.
All right then, and just like Chelsea, we also did not see Manchester City doing any business. So my only point is the squad good enough to again retain their Premier League, to again win the Premier League championship that they are hoping for? Is their squad good enough to compete against the likes of Liverpool and Manchester United, because they are missing out on Aguero and De Bruyne at the moment? What do you think, Ankit?
I think you're going to put a good perspective. I think they have played well. They have had good clean sheets. They have kept clean sheets. And like after, I think Gundogan has been their key player. He's been getting them goals and assists, and he has been building the game from the midfield. I think attack on the both phases, from the front third and the back third, they're looking very good. They are back. I think we could say that we are looking at Manchester City getting back to their best. Like the last season, the season in which they won, the game has been developing into that way. And I think with the players that they have, since they're getting a result, and it's not a sort of one way result, it's a consistent result. They have been winning for the past, I think, 8 or 9 matches, and without conceding goals. And John Stones has been like a new signing. Everybody was looking at John Stones going to another club, but John Stones, given the chance, he has played well. He has shown phenomenal, mentality, kept that mentality to, try again. And I think he has been phenomenal for them, with Ruben Dias, of course, who has been their best summer signing, if you ask me. Like the way he clears the way he shows his colors, his true colors. I think Ruben Dias has been a rock at the back for Manchester City, and I think this team could go and win the title, if you ask me. There's a pretty good chance.
You agree with Ankit, Aniket, or you were surprised not to see Manchester City making any signings?
I think Manchester City's most important business was to take advantage of the, you can say, slowdown of Manchester United and Liverpool, and they grabbed it in both hands. 6 points lead now with the game in hand. I think that was the most important business for Pep Guardiola, and they have done it perfectly. And secondly, I was not surprised that they didn't sign anyone, because usually City have a squad which has multiple layers when it comes to fielding players. Like they have 3 different players for every position. So it was not shocking to say, but I would have expected some striker to come in, because Gabriel Jesus and Aguero is out. So that was surprising, but they are getting goals, like Ankit mentioned, from Gundogan and from Ferran Torres and Foden. So it's quite amusing to see Pep pulling aces after aces every season. So expected that they didn't sign, but I'm really worried now, because catching them would be really difficult.
All right, guys, on that note, we have covered all the big names and all the big teams, but I have to ask you, who has been your signing of the window? We'll start with Alan.
Actually, the signing of the season, how do I pronounce his name? It's this Dominic guy I want to talk about.
Szoboszlai. Yeah. Szoboszlai, who joined Leipzig from Salzburg.
Yeah, there's a Red Bull connection over there.
Yeah.
And yeah, for me, he would be very surprising because I was very impressed by him while in the Euros. So that's the moment that I actually encountered his game and I saw him play. And that free kick that he had taken in one of the games was too good. So I'm sure a lot of clubs were also, eyeing him. And his transfer is something that I feel United have really, they have got something really good going for them.
And for you, Aniket?
I won't go with any players because there was not such a big name, but there was a big manager, that Thomas Tuchel. I think he's probably be the signing of the season, mainly because Chelsea have this charm. Whoever comes, gives them the title, except for Lampard. So I'm just worried that Chelsea might, scoop in some Premiership or 2-3 titles under Tuchel.
The future. All right. And for you, Ankit?
I think I'll go with my earlier what I said. I think Martin Odegaard should be the one who should be the good signing, being an Arsenal fan. And I think second to him should be Matt Ryan.
Okay. That was not a bad answer.
That was not at all obvious. That was not at all obvious by any means.
Yeah.
All right then. On that note, I'd like to conclude this episode. I'd like to thank all our guests for chipping in for today's and with their insightful views and opinions. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and you did. Don't forget to drop a like and tell us in the comment section below which signing did you like the most. You can also follow us on various platforms. You can check out the link in the description below. Till then, it's me, Kaustubh, signing off. I'll see you in the next episode of Time Out.